it is like holy, like it's true. Like you gotta do what you want, like whatever you believe that like you do you, and if that like be open to feedback. Yeah, that be open to
Hmm.
feedback. But at the end of the day, it's your choice whether you want that feedback or not, or whether you're gonna let that influence you. So yeah, I just want to share that because for me that was crazy, and I'll leave the link below because y'all gotta watch that episode. For yeah, okay. So we talk about and some recommendations I give about money is like, the psychology of money, the simple path to wealth, which talks about investment and like the literally the simple way to do it.
Hmm.
um I have it right here, like the secrets of the millionaire mind. That one's also a good book. It talks more about like the emotional side, or like the limiting beliefs that we have about money. And I think those are the top three. Oh, and the richest man in Babylonian. That one's also a really good book. I haven't finished it, but I'm planning on this year at some point. But those are like my book recommendations. And I wanna, since we're almost on our time of like an hour,
Hmm.
my last question is, with this whole journey, what are like the top moments that you've had besides the video that you posted, like, and having all that growth? Because that I feel
Hmm.
like you shared it a bit, but besides that one, because that one's a really big one, what are the
Hmm.
other top experiences that you've had in your journey?
Okay, so this one I guess is kind of a negative one, but it helped me because I had posted my sweaters on Facebook actually,
Mhm.
and there was backlash.
Mm.
So prepare yourself for this. Someone was telling me that I wasn't Latina enough to sell the items that I'm now selling. Because, like you said, I found this way to kind of shift the products that I'm selling.
Mhm.
And like you said, like I found this newfound passion for it. And it's like, yes, like I love it. And I feel like more connected to my roots and my culture because I have like so many ideas of, things that I heard growing up and, things that I
Mm.
watched in novellas and all this stuff. So it's like been really fun for me, right? But yeah, so there was this backlash and it really struck me as odd because, I'm secure in my roots and in who I am as a person, and I've always been a proud Mexicana, So to hear someone say like, "Oh, this is just a bandwagon for her. This is a money grab for her. She's never had Latina customers." They were saying like all this bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here like, what? Where?
Like how
Like
do you?
where are you getting this
Yeah.
information from? So it was really crazy, and I just felt like so taken aback by it. But it actually turned out to be, like I said, a good experience because it made me realize like I don't have anything to prove. Because
Mm.
so far in my experience, like I have had like a lot of support, a lot of love. So it kind of was necessary for me to have this experience for me to
Mhm.
fully like embrace my new journey in my business and really appreciate even more like the people who support me
Mhm.
because it made me realize like I didn't even want to say anything back to them because it made me realize like I don't have anything to prove.
Mm.
Like what I show is who I am and what I love and what I believe and everything that I'm promoting, like that's me. And
Mhm.
if it didn't come across that way to someone, like that's their issue. And
Yep,
so
literally.
anyway, it all boiled down to this phrase that I heard on TikTok. Actually, it's like, "Yo no me creo más, tú te crees menos."
Ooh,
And I was like, that's your, so again, I'm like, that's
it's
your
your issue.
issue. Yeah, exactly. So, and I had like some wonderful friends, want to come to my rescue. And they were like, you have no business saying this to Carla, like she's
Mm.
out here like trying to take up space on TikTok for us, because it was a Latinx group. And so that's why I promoted on there.
Mm.
And so they're like, yeah, and that's right. They're right. I do want to take up space on TikTok. Like we do need more
Yep.
creators who look like us, speak like us, have experience, our upbringings and everything that comes with being a first generation Latina.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, you guys are right. And then it all boiled down to, maybe this person is jealous and that's it, you know? If they
Mm-hmm.
cannot see another Latina winning and celebrate it, then again, that's their issue. Because I've always said, you know, if I can do it, so can you. Like,
So
what
can you?
is
Mm-hmm.
stopping you? What is stopping you? And that's how I perceive any time that I see, you know, one of us, like you starting your podcast. Literally, I was like, that is so awesome. You know, I'm not over here like, oh my gosh, I wish I could start a podcast. You know, like there's so much jealousy I feel like embedded with just like what it means to be a Latina. You know, we're always seen as like the cat fighters and like all this
Mm,
stuff. And it's like,
yeah.
no, like so many of us want to, you know, cheer each other on and say,
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, you're doing it. And we're all doing it for each other, you know? So
Yeah.
again, it just took like that kind of negative experience for it to really come full circle for me and let me know, like, this is what I want to do, you know?
Yeah, you
Like, no
got
matter.
clarity out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It really made me see like, wow. And I even remember telling my parents and they were like, what? Like, yeah, and you know, even they wanted to like come to my rescue, and I was like, no, like I
Like
think
where
I'm
they
good.
at? That's
Yeah, yeah, but I was like, no, I think I'm good, you know, like because like I told you, I didn't have a, I didn't even like care to say anything back, you know, because I could have been
Mhm.
like, no, like I had enchiladas for lunch, you know, and like, or like no, I lived in Mexico for you, like you know, there was no need to
Prove yourself.
prove like yeah prove how Latina I am. And I think that's a conversation maybe for another time because it's like it's so crazy, like are we Latina enough for the Latinos and then like we're not American enough, and you know,
Yeah.
so it's always like this having to prove ourselves, but it's like, and then I don't feel the need to do that. And even so, like whenever I'm speaking Spanish, like I get a little timid because it was my first language, but then I kind of lost it. So even
Oh,
things like
same.
that, I'm like, no, like I speak the way I speak, and that's okay, you know, like Spanglish,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
That's actually something I'm trying because for me when I speak Spanish too, they say
Hmm.
either I feel like gringo or like even like now it's or sometimes they say I don't have an accent. So like when I speak Spanish,
Hmm.
like typically there's like the Mexican accent, but they say I don't have it too. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm actually gonna do an episode with somebody I already interviewed, but it was in
Hmm.
English, and her content she also does bilingual. So she asked me if we could do it in Spanish, and I like instantly said yes. But then after that, I was like, well, wait, I don't know how to. My Spanish is
Uh-huh.
not that great. Like, oh fuck, what
Hmm.
did I do? But like I know I could like put my message. Like I know I could like have a conversation in Spanish. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. And
Hmm.
yeah, and just like being okay with like however my Spanish sounds. So yeah, I just wanted to share because like it's true. It's yeah, it's true.
Hmm.
Okay, do you have any other experiences?
Oh yeah, so another experience that really shaped me is kind of showing my mom like this is what I'm proud of, you know? Because for the longest time my mom has been super against cussing,
Mm,
and so I was very nervous for her to see like everything is like, oh, pendeja this, chingona this, you know, like
mm, yeah.
so it was really just a way again of just me saying like I have nothing to be ashamed of, like, you know. So I remember she came over to help me package and I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to get a scolding, you know?
So she didn't know that you had the
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah,
the
I
rights.
hadn't told her, and in fact I was actively trying to hide it from her. Like whenever she would come over, I'd be like, okay, the sweaters, or only show the like the cutesy ones, you know? And so when she came over with my dad, because initially it was just gonna be my dad helping me package my
Mm.
sweaters. And so when she came over, I got so nervous. I was like, she's gonna read them right away. And I was like, maybe no trajo sus lentes, like maybe she won't be able to read. But it actually helped that my dad was there because he was like, oh, he was like holding them up. He's like, oh yeah, this is funny. Like, look, wife, you know? So I feel like a lot of this year is just me like facing things head on, kind of like how I initially faced things when I first became a mother. Like, no, now it's time to face things that I'm afraid of maybe people perceiving about me,
Mm,
and not just with like the public, but people in my life that I care about and that I love and that maybe I've molded myself to be different in front of.
mm.
and kind of just stop doing that, because that takes effort and that takes so like it's exhausting to be someone else around certain people. So I'm learning to, fully embrace myself. And that was like the catalyst. That
Mm,
experience with my mom was the catalyst of like maybe the reaction I think I'm gonna get is not what I'm gonna get, like the
it
reaction
goes
I'm
back.
afraid. Yeah.
It goes back to expectations, like what from
hmm
which lens are you actually like looking at it from? Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly. So yeah, so I thought I was gonna get one reaction and ni paso. I'm like all that anxiety, all that hiding, all that was for nothing, like so I
Mm,
think finally I'm at this point where I'm like, again, like I said, proud of what I'm doing, proud of who I am, proud of what I've accomplished, and now it's time to, not let anyone stop me from being
hmm.
myself and being authentic.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Like your story is like so inspiring. I feel like okay, there's like so much I could talk about more because there's like
hmm
the whole point about like growing your business and how you're planning on scaling it. Like I like talking about that, but we don't have much time anymore because it's like an hour and 20, something like that.
hmm
But and this could always be like part two because you also mentioned about not being Latina enough and or being too American. That's something not that I didn't know about, but something I want to open myself more because I'm like very, you could say like isolated. I don't really talk about these things, but then I see people talking about this like, oh, like what do they mean not Latina? Because there's some that they've the people that I've interviewed, some of them have mentioned that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like interesting. Like, do I feel not Mexican enough? Because I never really had
hmm
that conversation. So I'm like, huh. But yeah, that could be like a conversation part two. Your growth, your growing your business and scaling it, all of that, and then yeah, just seeing how your journey evolves
hmm
throughout the time through this year. And so I want to end by thanking you for being here, for sharing your story, for being honest and like being vulnerable like through this whole thing. So I know like for some people it might not be easy. So thank you for that. Can you share your social media handles for those who want to support
Oh
you and all of
yeah.
that?
hmm Yeah, for sure. So it's just Foxy Luna shop everywhere, like Facebook, TikTok,
Mm.
Instagram. We're even on YouTube.
On YouTube,
So
yes.
yeah, Foxy Luna shop everywhere.
Yeah, I'll definitely leave your social media handles in the descriptions, and also do a specific link for your shop. So like those who are ready to go buy your clothes, I probably like try to put pictures in here to see how awesome they are, and like go check them out. Again, thank you. You're always welcome back. And for those who are listening, don't forget to give us a review or rate us in Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. And in YouTube, don't forget to give us a like, a comment, a subscribe, and share it with anybody who you think might have some value out of this because there's a lot of valuable information in here. So thank you everybody. Thank you, Carla, for being here, and see you in the next episode. Bye.